I care that people can't afford it. I care that there's people being put in jail for this. I'm an underdog fighter. That's who I give a shit about. Someone coined the term green fairy. I didn't choose it, but it's stuck, and it's quite sweet really. I guess everyone needs a fairy in their life. I don't advocate smoking cannabis. I don't suggest any patient smokes cannabis. If they're critically ill, I would suggest drops under the tongue or a tincture or maybe an edible. It depends on their condition, or suppositories. There's just so many ways that we can microdose for pain relief. In 2015 I started campaigning for Alex, my son, to use cannabis as medicine in Wellington hospitals. Following through from that, I realised that I wouldn't want to not be given the right to choose, and so for me it's always been a right to choose medicine.
Well-known medical marijuana campaigner Rose Renton is facing up to 14 years behind bars for cannabis offences. The 44-year-old's accused of cultivating cannabis, as well as producing and supplying balm and brownies containing cannabidiol.
I knew that I would probably have to go through the court process and come out without a conviction to make any sort of progress. I seem to have been used as a catalyst for change. And so I'm quite happy about that. I mean, the court process was gruelling. It was really difficult for my family. There was so much media, and I think that fear tends to stop us from joining together and speaking out. You know, I was doing what I was doing to help others. I wasn't doing it to blatantly break laws, and I think New Zealand knows that. These are cannabis roots, and you can see they emulate the nervous system, so they have a strong tap root, then they have branch roots, and then the tiny roots, exactly like we do as humans. We have a spine, and we have nervous system, and then so an endocannabinoid system. So the plant emulates the human nervous system. We're going to do how I put the balm together, so it's the root balm.
So what do you use the balm for?
Arthritis, bruising, cramp, insomnia, restless legs, nerve damage, inflammation. There's a lot of talk about this, but at the moment it's bare land. So who's dealing with the people that are suffering? That's where Green Fairies can access a grower, a strain, and get a product out within weeks. So the scale that they're growing means it's years away, 18 months away. We may need that scale because it would be lovely that all those patients, but again it'll come down to cost. So how much is the product? What strains are they using? And how much patient to, like that supportive patient contact? Are we just going to put everyone on CBD and not have a conversation? No, I'm not going to stop, because why should the corporate model take over where the communities need it? Like, you can't tell me they're not about profit. I'm about the people. If I was about money, I would have joined them. For me, we'll be across the line when homegrown rights, and I think that's again him, that's Alex. And so yeah, he'd be extremely proud, highly amused, and absolutely tickled pink that his life, although short, and his death was not for no reason. And yeah, I think he's never far from me. He's there. But a lot of what I do is a reflection of who he was. So he was one of those people that always cared. Wouldn't matter if he was stressed or busy. He always gave you the time of day. And he always used to say, you know, Mum, you could make a difference.